Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Reichert with OBTVLive.com. We're in studio today with Elizabeth Coplan from Seattle and Toni Lepeska from right here in the Memphis, Tennessee metro area. And we're going to talk about a book in a moment called Grief Dialogues, the book. Elizabeth, as I said, is from Seattle, and you're with us today, and you're here to promote this book. You're the founder of a nonprofit called Grief Dialogues. Tell us a little history about that.
Well, Grief Dialogues was created when actually I lost several people, several loved ones in my life, and I realized that most people don't want to hear your grief stories, or they actually feel like it's contagious, or they feel vulnerable, or if they have their own stories, they feel shame. So the goal of Grief Dialogues, the nonprofit, is to erase the stigma and shame around dying, death, and grief in this country.
Now, this book is a compilation of stories and poems and plays from about 60 different authors. And Toni is one of the authors in
Correct.
this book. And Toni, you've not always been the author of books. You've done other things, right? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I started in newspaper journalism. I went to the University of Mississippi, and I worked at the Clarion Ledger in Jackson, Mississippi. I covered crime. I wrote obituaries. And then I came to the Commercial Appeal, and I covered Olive Branch the last part of my career there. For several years, I covered your first election, as a matter of fact, and then I was a freelancer for a while. And
Then you went with the DeSoto Appeal,
Right,
which was
right.
an extension of the Commercial Appeal
Correct.
In DeSoto County, which that entity does not exist anymore.
basically,
But Toni and I go back a long ways,
Yes,
I guess. We
yeah.
had lots of conversations over
Yeah.
the years about primarily city business. That was her job, and that was my job too. So you were and are a journalist.
Right.
But now you're writing these stories, and basically I think you're writing a memoir.
Yes, I am.
That is different from this. This contains a story or two, I guess, from you. Is it more than that?
No, it's one story.
One story,
One
okay.
story. It centers around the grief and death of my uncle. And I think Elizabeth picked it because we don't usually talk about some extended
Right.
family members' losses. But I primarily write about the loss of my parents and the transformative experience that was in the years that followed grieving them and cleaning out their home and going through that experience.
Now you started this several years ago, probably a couple of years ago, maybe, writing your memoir.
That's right.
With that, the press release about this book says, "Do stories of loss and grief change our lives?" And it says the collective response is yes. Now, I know that people deal with grief in different ways. Some
Right.
people hold it in, some people want to tell everybody about it, some people don't want to ask about it. But I think it's a great thing that for those that don't want to be public with it, but they can pick up a book and find out that there are other people that have gone through the same type of processes and feelings that
Right.
they're going through then. And maybe they learn that it's not hopeless and that there are others that can help. And maybe they help just by reading the story.
Exactly. Every grief experience is unique. Everyone is different. There are some commonalities, but I do want to say everything is very, very personal and your own story. What I have found when people have either read the book or seen one of our plays or seen some of our art, I collectively get a response of, I thought I was the only one who felt this way. And that is why we do this, because we want to share with people they're not alone in their grief journeys.
Okay, now you're in town to promote this book, and we have an event coming up on November the 15th, 4 p.m. to 5:45 at Master Jewelers. You get to meet the authors, or some of the authors, and you can get your book signed if you purchase it there. And I know that the book will be available in bookstores soon, and I
Right.
believe you said it can be ordered even online now at your website, which the website is what?
Griefdialogues.com.
Okay. So if you want to meet Toni or Elizabeth, head out to Master Jewelers at 5070 Goodman Road here in Olive Branch on November the 15th, 2018 from 4 p.m. to 5:45, and you can get this book there, and you
Right.
can meet the authors.
And I'd like to point out that this is National Children's Grief
Okay.
Awareness Month. November 15th is actually the day. And it's very important because I think so many times when there's a loss in the family, the little children are believed to be, oh, they're resilient, or they don't understand, or something like, they just kind of go away, kid, you bother me kind of thing. And yet their grief is so profound. And often, especially if they're on younger children, they feel that in some way, if they had just done better, if they had not been naughty, their mommy wouldn't have died, even though mommy died of cancer or something. So I think we need to really get out there and realize and have compassion and empathy for not only those going through grief, but the children as well. So I'm more than honored to have this book available and do this reading on November 15th.
Okay. Well, thank you for appearing with me on the show today, Toni and Elizabeth.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
Sam
you.
Reichert. You've been watching OBTVLive.com. We'll join you at another occasion for just another